In this chapter, you'll learn how information is filed on disks, how to run programs from disks, and how to make a duplicate copy of a disk. By now, you must be anxious to run a program on your new computer. Your DOS master disk contains several programs that can be used to demonstrate some of the capabilities of your computer. Most pre-programmed disks have a list of various programs contained on them. This list is called a directory. Some manufacturers call the directory a catalog. To find out just what is contained on your DOS master, type the first three letters of the word directory, D-I-R, at the prompt and press enter. Notice that a list of various names scrolled up your display. It went kind of fast until it reached the end when the prompt appeared. You can stop the scrolling to examine the first part of the list easily using a command from your keyboard. By holding down the Control key and pressing the numlock key during the scrolling, you can stop the directory information from scrolling off the screen before you've had a chance to examine it. At the prompt, go ahead and type D-I-R again. Only this time, don't press enter yet. Be prepared to hold the Control key down while you strike the numlock key in order to stop the directory from scrolling too far. This will happen quickly, so if you're ready, press enter and then the Control and numlock key as soon as the directory starts to fill your display. To continue scrolling, press almost any key. The directory will continue to scroll until it either comes to the end or you do another Control numlock command. Here's a tip. Holding the Control key while you press the letter S key works exactly the same as the Control numlock combination, and it only takes one hand. Take some time now to get comfortable with scrolling and stopping the scroll. We'll show you what information the directory contains when you come back to this video program. Now call up the directory and stop it just before the top line goes off the top of your display. Notice that there are many lines and each line contains quite a bit of information. At the left side of each line is the title of a file on that disk. A file is simply a collection of related information, just like a file folder on your desk contains collections of related information. Files may contain programs. Files may contain raw data. Just as your file folders usually have names, files in your computer are also named. Just as your file folder may be filed in a certain drawer in the cabinet, your computer files may be contained on a specific disk. There may be up to 64 files on a single-sided disk and up to 112 files on a double-sided disk, depending on the amount of information contained in each file. Each file may contain a complete program or a portion of a much larger program. Each file has a name assigned to it by whoever wrote the program contained in that file. The next column in each file tells you the file type, whether the file is written in a language and what the language is, whether it's an executive file or a COM file or a basic file. The next column tells you how much memory space on the disk that file uses. The number represents approximately how many bytes of information that file has. We'll define a byte in Chapter 7. For now, just remember that each number or letter represents 1 byte. The final two columns tell you the date and time when that file was last changed. There is another way to display the same directory information if you don't need to know the date and time and amount of memory space occupied by that file. At the DOS prompt, type dir/w and press enter. Notice that the directory has arranged itself horizontally across the page. This is an optional method of reading a directory that you might find helpful. There are two more files that don't show on the directory but are essential to proper operation because they are two of the three files that contain DOS. These files are IBM Bio and IBM DOS. There is a third file that, when taken with these first two DOS files, make up DOS. It does show up in the directory as Command COM. These three files for DOS use 3 of the 64 possible directory entries and are contained on every DOS disk. Your DOS master disk contains 2 programs that will enable you to copy disks. Notice on the directory of your DOS master is a file called Format and a file called Disk Copy. copying a disk is an important procedure. It allows you to make backups of your work so that if anything happens to one of your disks to damage your data, you will have a protection copy to work with. One of the first things you should do when you start to use DOS is to make a backup copy of your DOS master disk. Then use the copy instead of the original whenever you start DOS. This will keep your original master protected and in good condition. You should store your masters in a safe place so that nothing will ever happen to them. Any new unused disk that you purchase for your computer must be specially prepared before anything may be recorded on it. This preparation is called formatting. Some programs refer to it as initializing. Formatting and initializing are the same thing. They are the process of recording some standard information on a disk to prepare it to receive further data. It's sort of like building bookshelves in an empty room before you put in your books. Essentially, your computer must record a standardized pattern on the surface of the disk so a program can be written onto a particular place on that disk. The initializing, or formatting, is a set of tracks laid down that are unique to your IBM personal computer. You can't use disks from other computer systems that aren't exactly the same format as your computer. Nor can disks made on your IBM personal computer be used on any other model computer unless special conversion programs are available. Radio Shack TRS-80 or Apple II or Apple III disks won't work directly on your system. That's why when you see advertisements for pre-written programs, you must see if they are written for your IBM personal computer system without any additional software requirements. You must format every new unused disk before you can use it. If there's a problem on a used disk, you may want to format again, but you'll lose all the data from that disk when you do. Right now, we'll format a disk so you can make a backup of your DOS master. Have a new unused disk ready. At the prompt, type format space A shift colon / S / 1. Then press the Enter key. If your screen doesn't look like this one, but instead has one of these error messages showing, then there's been a mistake in typing. Leaving out spaces or other typographical errors can confuse your computer. Error messages will appear anytime you type a message your IBM can't understand. To give your computer the correct message, simply retype the command. Check it against this one before you press Enter. You will see this message. Do what it says. Remove your DOS master and insert your new disk into drive A and press any key when you are ready. The red in use light will come on, the drive will start to whir, and the formatting process will begin. This will continue for about 30 to 40 seconds, during which time you'll hear some clicking and clacking sounds from the drive. This is normal. You'll also see the message, Formatting, appear in your display. When the formatting is complete, this message will appear on your screen. The line that says, System transferred means that you transferred the complete disk operating system to that disk during the same time you were formatting. There will also be information telling you how much memory space is available on that new formatted disk, how much memory space is taken up by the DOS files, and how much remaining memory for your use is available. Finally, you are asked if you want to format another disk. The program is asking you to respond with a yes or no. The letter Y means yes, the letter N means no. That's a very common way to save you keystrokes, and you'll find it used quite often with commercial software. Type N for no for the time being. When you typed in the format command, you also told the program to do 3 other things. After the word format, you type A, colon. This told the program to format a disk on drive A. Then you typed a / sign and the letter S. This told the program that you wish to have the DOS information on that new disk so that it could be a start disk. If you didn't want DOS on that disk, for example, if you only wanted to use that disk to hold files and needed the space DOS uses, you could have left the / S command off. You then typed another / symbol on the number 1. This part of the command told a program to only format one side of the disk. If you have 320K disk drives, you might want to format both sides of a disk. If that's the case, leaving the /1 command off would have automatically defaulted to both sides with a double-sided disk drive system. You now have a start disk that can load DOS into memory by itself without any additional information. You can check this by doing a system reset. Leave your new formatted disk in drive A and reset by holding down the control and alternate keys while you press the delete key. When the program asks you for the date and time, enter them if you'd like and press enter, or just press enter twice. Now call up the directory of this new formatted disk by typing dir and pressing enter. Notice, however, that the directory has only one file visible. Command Com is one of the 3 files that make up DOS. The other 2 files for DOS do not show up in your directory, but they are on the disk. Remember, they take up 2 of the possible 64 available files. At this point, you could have copied any disk onto your formatted disk. But since it's important to make a backup of all master disks, we'll copy the rest of the contents from your DOS master onto your newly formatted disk. For this exercise, we'll assume that you have 2 disk drives. If you have only one, you can still copy from one disk to another, similar to the way we just formatted your new disk using one drive. Your DOS manual can give you more information. For now, watch this procedure. Take the newly formatted disk out of drive A and have it ready. This will be called your target disk. Insert your DOS master into drive A. This will be your source disk. Prompt type disk copy as one word, then a space, then the letter A and a colon, then a space and the letter B and a colon. Then press enter. If your screen doesn't look like this one, you probably have one of these error messages. To correct any error message, simply retype the command correctly. If all else fails, you can do a Control-Alternate-Delete command and start over. Check your correct command against this one before you press enter. Now, follow the instructions and insert your newly formatted disk into drive B. This will be your target disk. Press any key when you're ready. The program will now read some data from your source disk into memory, store it there, then write it onto your target disk. Once that first batch of data is transferred successfully to your target disk, the program will go back and get another batch and store that in memory, then write it onto your target disk. This process will continue until all the data from the source disk is written onto the target disk. When the disk copy program is finished, this message will appear. The program is now ready to run again if you wish to make another copy. For now, simply type the letter N for no, and the DOS prompt will reappear waiting for your next command. If you want to check and see that the contents of the DOS master did, in fact, copy to the new disk, go ahead and type dir to call up the directory, space, the letter B to get the information from drive B, and a colon, which is used for punctuation. Then press enter. Notice that drive B started running as the program read the directory off the disk in drive B before it displayed it on your screen. The directories of the 2 disks look exactly alike. Now that you've made a backup copy of your DOS master, you might want to protect it from accidental erasure, or you might want to keep this disk from having any further files saved on it. Remove your new DOS backup from drive B, or A if you used only one drive. You can protect an entire disk similar to the way you protect your videocassettes by breaking off the little plastic tabs. Only in the case of your disks, you need to add a small adhesive label to the disk cover. Here's how you do it. As you hold a disk in the direction you would insert it into a drive, notice that there is a cutout on the left side of the disk. That cutout can be used to write protect an entire disk and its contents. Stick-on adhesive labels are provided when you buy blank disks. They may be placed over the cutout like this. When they are in place over the cutout, you cannot write any data or change the contents of that disk. However, if you do decide at a later time to change a file or reuse the entire disk, you can remove the adhesive label and unwrite protect your disk. For now, find a write protect label and cover the write protect notch on your DOS backup disk. Some disks come with no cutout. Take a look at the DOS master you received with your system. It was write protected when it was manufactured. You don't want to lose or change the contents of that disk because it is your DOS master. Many commercial pre-written software programs come with master disk write protected. If you tried to copy your DOS master onto a write protected disk, you would have gotten this error message. So far in this chapter, you have formatted a disk and copied a disk. However, suppose you only wanted to copy a single file from one disk to another. There's a program called Disk Copy available on your DOS master which will allow you to copy a single file from one disk to another, or allow you to copy a file from a disk, rename it if you wish, and save it on the same disk. You'll have the opportunity to save and name a program file in Chapter 9. For now, it might be a good time to take a break and play with your computer for a while. There's a program on your DOS master which will provide a short musical interlude. At the DOS prompt, type the word BASIC, then press Enter. Notice that drive A started running and the display changed somewhat. The disk drive prompt disappeared and the display returned to the same format it had when you used it for the keyboard exercises in Chapter 4. You have told your computer that you wish to work with the programming language BASIC while you have available the features of the disk operating system. You'll learn more about languages and operating systems in the next chapter. So for now, just follow along. Now we'll use two of those special function keys on the far left end of your keyboard. At the bottom of your display, a series of numbered words appear. Essentially, these numbered words are there to tell you what the meaning of the 10 special function keys are when you're working in BASIC. Each of the numbers refers to one of the function keys numbered F1 through F10. Each of the words is a particular command associated with that particular key. Find the F3 key and press it. Notice that the word load appeared on your screen followed by open quotation marks. The cursor moved to the right of the quotation marks. At the prompt, type the word samples and press Enter. Drive A began running and then the OK, or basic prompt, reappeared on your screen when the drive stopped. That load command you just did by pressing the F3 key followed by the word samples saved you several keystrokes. You could have given your IBM personal computer the same command by typing the letters LOAD, then the open quotation mark, then the word samples. But IBM designed special keys on the left side of the keyboard to make very frequently used commands quicker and easier to enter. What you actually did when you told your computer to load samples was to look for the first file it came to that had the file name samples and load the entire contents of that file into active memory, RAM. Let's run that file. This time, however, type the letters R-U-N and press Enter. You gave another command to your computer by typing the actual word run, then pressing Enter. You could have saved those few keystrokes by pressing the F2 key directly. Now that this title page is showing, follow the instructions on your display and press the space bar to continue. Notice that a menu has appeared showing you what type of sample programs you can try. Or if you don't want to try any, it tells you to press the escape key to exit or back out of the samples program. You'll encounter menus frequently during your work with computers. A menu is a list of choices from which you may select one, usually with a simple keystroke or two. Since we want you to have a musical interlude, furnished by IBM, simply follow the directions and press A. Now the music portion of the samples program has been loaded. To continue, simply press the space bar. Go ahead and follow the directions. When you're finished exploring the tunes available to you, come back to this video program. Press the escape key twice to back out of the music program, once to the main menu, and once more to get back to just basic, where we can continue. After you press the escape key twice, you should see this basic prompt on your screen. Type the word system and press enter. In this chapter, you've learned how to format and copy a disk, and you've run a program from that copied disk. We'll take a look at the software in your IBM personal computer system more closely and answer some questions about DOS in the next chapter.